Hello, welcome back. My name is Ari and today is February's TBR. There are a lot of books. Like a lot of books. So, I hope you're ready for this. Alright, first things first is I am taking part in the Buzzwordathon every month, where my goal is just to read one book that fits the buzzword for the Buzzwordathon each month, and this month's buzzword, which is not really just a single word, but it's colors in the title. So I need to read a book that has a color in the title of the book. And I've got a few options. So first I have Red Hood by Elena K. Arnhold, which is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. Then I have Spinning Silver by Naomi Novak, which is also a retelling. Weirdly, it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Next I have White Negroes, which is a non-fiction book about cultural appropriation. The last one that I have is a little bit of a stretch. To me, obsidian is a color. It's like a shade of black, but I guess it's supposed to be like a rock. That's not the right word, but we're gonna go with it. So it's a stretch, but I consider obsidian a color. The book that I am going to end up reading for this is White Negroes because it's Black History Month, so this one makes the most sense. Next up is my two series read-throughs I'm doing this year, which are the Shannara and the Drit series. First up is the Shannara series. I'm reading the Genesis of Shannara, and amazingly enough, this might be the only time you see this happen, but all of the covers are like matching covers from the same print of this. This never happens with me. I always have like mismatched crazy covers. But this one is Armageddon's Children's, The Elves of Sintra, and the Gypsy Morph. What is this asshole doing? These take place after the events of the Word and Void series that I read last month, but like a long time afterwards. I'm not exactly sure how many years, but at least a generation after, if not more than a generation after, which I'll explain more when I get into these in the video next month. The other series that I'm reading is the Drit series, and I am going to be reading the Icewind Dale trilogy. I don't have the book physically. I have all of the books as an ebook, but I think I'm gonna buy a physical copy, so I'm gonna put like the trilogy compendium thing here. This is the first book in the Drit series, or the first trilogy in the Drit series, if I were to have read this in publication order. So this is the first time that any of us that read these books as they came out met Drits. So the book that I read last month, or the series that I read last month, which was the Dark Elf trilogy, was chronological order, but that was published after this trilogy. It's confusing, I know, I'm sorry. But this is the Icewind Dale trilogy, where we're gonna meet all of the fantastic characters that we're gonna see throughout Drits' life, and I'm like nostalgia excited, like dying, ready to read these. Next up is my theme for the month, which, I mean, there's only two reasonable themes to do in February, and that's Black History or Valentine's Day. And considering I hate contemporary romance, I'm bitter, and I'm single, we're going with Black History. I'm also like way more interested in Black History, and I have a shit ton of books by Black authors on my TBR, both physical and like just things that I want to read this year. One of the things I'm doing this month is I'm taking part in Blackathon, which is a BIPOC readathon, and there are 3 groups three teams that you can join for Blackathon, and I just decided that I'm going to join all three and read all of the books, or try to read all of the books. I might not actually get through all of these, but I'm going to try to read all of these books. So I'm going to go through all 12 of the prompts for this, let you know what I'm reading for them. I will link the announcement video down in the description. This was created by Jessie at Bowties and Books. The first team is the sci-fi and fantasy team, and I'm gonna be real honest, the prompts for these are so incredibly specific that I struggled to find a book that would fit, or struggled to find like more than one book in existence that would fit for the prompt, because not only are you filling the prompt, but you need this book by a Black author, and it's just very specific things that you might not necessarily know about the book until you actually read it. So I struggled a lot with some of these, but the first one is Travels Through the Spiritual Realm, or Spiritualism, and I'm already cheating a little bit on this. I am going to read The Space Between Worlds by Micah Johnson for this. Is it travel between realms? Kind of. It's like traveling between different realities. Like there's parallel universes. In this book series, people can travel between parallel universes, but only if their doppelganger in the other universe is dead. And this woman is employed by this company to travel between these parallel universes because almost all of her other existences of her have died. This is like a lot of commentary on like racial prejudices and how people of color have a lot lower chance of just general basic generic survival because of like endless amount of prejudices. So spiritual, I don't know, but it is traveling between like multiple universes, so I'm gonna count it. The next book or the next prompt is Tade Thompson, and it's an alien civilization or alien tech. And for that, I'm going to read Babel 17 by Samuel Delaney. This is about, it's sci-fi, and they find this or invent, I don't know, this alien language that allows you to do things. It's the worst description ever. But it has alien tech in it. That's all you need to know. And the third prompt is Octavia Butler, and it is time travel. And there are not a whole lot of books about time travel written by Black authors. There's a handful of them, but everything other than Kindred by Octavia Butler has like atrociously bad ratings. So I'm gonna read Kindred by Octavia Butler. I wanted to read it anyway, but I wasn't necessarily planning on reading it this month. There you go. The next team is Contemporary Literature and Nonfiction. Now, the first prompt is Maeve Card, which is a span a character's life or a multi-generational narrative. And for that, I'm going to be reading The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is a multi-generational narrative about two sisters who are Black but can pass as white, and one of them decides to live her life as a white woman and the other decides to live her life as a Black woman. Next prompt is Patsy, which is two queer characters on a road trip / journey. I'm cheating hard on this one, I'm sorry. I wanted to do books that I already owned, and this, except for one minor little thing, fit the prompt so perfectly, and I already own it. And it is The Sorcerer of the Wild Deeps by Kaya Shanti Wilson, and this is about two gay men who are on a road trip. Like, they are traveling from a battle back to home. The problem with it is this is fantasy. I'm reading it anyway, just go with it. The third prompt is Toniokafor and is a disabled character or the author is disabled. And I'm sure there are a lot of books out there with a black disabled character or the black author is disabled, but finding like those books without reading the books or like specifically researching an author's past is kind of difficult. But I did find one that sounded really, really interesting, and it's called Black Madness, Mad Blackness by Theory Alice Pickens. And this is a nonfiction book about insanity in black people, but also society labeling black people as insane when they are not. And it sounded really interesting from the premise, so I'm gonna read it. The final team is the thriller horror team, and this one I think I had the most fun finding books for. The first prompt is Megan Giddings, which is a Newtown old secret. My hair does not want to stay out of my eyes. And for this one, it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think it works. I'm going to read When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. So there are two main characters in this one, and one of them has just moved to Brooklyn. And so that's the new town. And then the old secret isn't necessarily his secret as far as I know. It's a thriller. There might be a twist in here and it is his secret. But the old secret is like a secret of all of the people living in this, or the old secret is a secret of gentrification, where all of the black people living in this neighborhood are being like bought out and relocated, and even families that say there's no way that they would ever move just move out and vanish one day. And it's thriller, so it's probably more to that, but it fit the prompt. With a little stretching, it fit the prompt. The next prompt is Victor Lavelle, which is a supernatural or paranormal book. For this, I'm reading The House of Dies Drear by Virginia Hamilton, and this is a young adult book about a haunted house that used to be a stop on the Underground Railroad. So, ghost, supernatural, it fits perfectly. And the last one was Rachel Housel, and that is a vacation/sabbatical. I'm going to be reading Lakewood by Megan Giddings for this one, and this one is a sabbatical because this girl has taken, she's taken a sabbatical from school to come home and take care of her parents. So it's not a vacation, it's just straight up like a sabbatical from school. And then thriller medical experiments. The last three books for the Blackathon are the group books, which is The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull, The Secret Lives of Baba Sega's Wives by Lola, I don't know her last name because I can't read my own handwriting, but the cover's obviously here, and then Wife of the Gods by Kawi Quarti. I probably did not say that person's name right. I apologize for not being able to pronounce anything. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get to the group books, but I'm going to try to. We're going to try to. The other caveat was or at least one book from each category shouldn't take place in the United States, or shouldn't take place in the United States or the UK, and I think I got that, but I could be wrong. We'll cover that in the wrap up at the end of the month. For the rest of the books that I want to read, I've got like a different area of prioritization. So my first priority is to get books that are on, or that were on the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2020, just because I need to get through a lot of those by the end of the year, and so as many of those as I could grab, the better. The other thing that I want to do is get books that I own already by Black authors off of my, owned TBR, because that's like the whole point of everything, is to get as many books that I've already owned off of that physical TBR and make room for new books. But you know me, I don't have to read books that I already own. I just kind of like to try it. Excluding the books that I've already shown you at some point in this video, these are the other physical books that I own by Black authors. I do own quite a few other ones that are ebooks as well, so it's not just these that I already own, but there's a lot of them. And you know, that's everything for this video. Let me know if you think I should prioritize any of these books, if any of them sound especially interesting to you, or if there's other books by Black authors that I really need to prioritize this month. Leave that down in the comments and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!